So, I mean, I think from what I've been like reading about and with a lot of the like people that are skeptical, um it's that even though he's still the owner, and every time you do CrossFit, you're still supporting the brand, right?
Hmm.
And I mean, they even go as far as to say that even if he does sell it off to someone and it continues, he's still making a shit ton of money
Yeah.
by selling it. And I think from what as far as what we can tell as well, is that I think CrossFit is at the end of the day a community. I don't look at it as a training regimen, right? But at the core of it, it is, but it's more of a community, right? Many people think of it as a sport, but it's more of a community and how everyone comes together. And I mean, it's almost been poetic, and like it's so beautiful to see how yeah, there's always group fitness, but the CrossFit community has always been the genuine, to me, they've always been genuine, um, true to themselves, cool, um, just really good people getting together, all like, no matter from which CrossFit gym you are, it's still like one
I
one
think
big community.
I think the thing is that it's always been a completely inclusive, like no matter who walks into the gym, you're going to have that mutual suffering,
Yeah,
and then through that experience together,
yeah,
um, you form a bond.
yeah,
So I know a lot of people who have been like, we're here in the Middle East, and I've had members who have like never had friends from lots of different nationalities, and then they walked into the gym and they're like, oh, I've made friends from all of these different places that I didn't know, with different belief systems, and then they're hanging out on the weekends, and um, you know during quarantine they're chatting all the time, and
yeah,
that's come from being in the gym and realizing that we have much less differences than we are alike. Um, and I think the really big thing about having the CEO of such a large company, that really, like, that name speaks for so many people who are involved in it. When they say something that's um, tasteless and not thought through and not considerate of the fact that part of the community is suffering, that's where all this pain comes from. Because obviously, like, I'm not the person that's going through this pain and discomfort, but I have close friends to me who, as soon as this all started to come forward, started sharing their stories and saying, like, this has been present in my life my whole lifetime.
yeah,
And it makes you realize that just because it hasn't been my experience doesn't mean that it takes away from that experience of someone else has been struggling with. Um, and then from my perspective, the more success that, like, personally, the more success I have, the more responsibility I have to support other people.
yeah,
That, and so when you see someone who has become very financially successful, who's created this massive brand, isn't then seeing that there's pain in his community and deciding, at very least, to say, like, we care about you.
yeah,
And I understand that he's got his other things that he cares about, and he's always been a divisive character.
yeah,
But at the end of the day, you run a multi-million dollar business, and there are just some things you can't do.
yeah.
Like, the tweet was like the tip of the iceberg. Like, that actually, it can be taken at multiple ways, and it was tasteless. But the way he responded in the email, to a very well
Yeah,
written
it all adds up.
email, like, all of the things are like, this person should not be running this company.
Yeah. Let's give to our viewers out there who don't know, who have a vague idea of what CrossFit is, right? There's a lot of the people who follow us that are more into like powerlifting and strongman. and maybe a quick brief on like what CrossFit really is. So in CrossFit, in short, CrossFit is a company, right? It's a brand, it's a company that
Well,
that
it's a
has a
company.
certain training methodology.
Well, CrossFit's a training methodology,
Yeah. Well,
and
it's a
it
brand.
has
At the end of the
to.
day, it's a company, right? That uses a certain training methodology,
Mm,
right? Where he's 100%, like Greg Glassman is 100% owner, correct?
mm.
And you know, over the years, CrossFit has grown more into like a community, a sport, a competitive sport.
Well,
Um,
started even at the grassroots. It was always this community, and it's grown and grown because people wanted to be part of that community.
yeah.
The sport is like this offshoot that it's become, which is very much like that's a very small part. That's like comparing like
But
people who
that's what people relate it to, right? That's it, the CrossFit Games is what people generally relate CrossFit to.
that's like saying like
Yeah,
you can't do any sport unless you're at the Olympics.
exactly.
Like there's all the people
So
that
I mean that this is just general perspective, right? When you talk to an average like gym goer who doesn't know what it really is, um, and you know, just you know, as we just said, like it is a company. It is a certain training methodology which you know does combine like high intensity interval training, uh, ollie lifting, gymnastics, calisthenics, plyometrics, kettlebell training, powerlifting, strongman, and some other sports. And you come up with a training methodology that tests your ability through various, sorry,
across like time and
across like
like
time and you know and reps and set and it's you know it's I love the methodology. I've always loved that training methodology. So there's like I just want to make that very clear that I've never hated CrossFit. Like I've loved the training methodology. I have to be very careful like when you say it, right? But I've loved that training methodology and the thought behind it. So kudos to Greg Glassman for coming up with that, right? At the end of the day, like he did come up with that along with his I think it was founded by him and his wife. And but so yeah, it was founded in 2000, year 2000. Until the last year, it had in the last like week, I would say it had like 15,000 affiliates, right, around the world, and you know sponsors like Reebok, Rogue, Fit Aid, and like some of the big names in the business. And then all of a sudden, over the last week, there has been some huge changes, right? Should we start with what happened exactly?
yeah.
Okay. Do you want to read it out, or do you want me
You,
to go for it? Okay.
you've got it in front of you.
Okay. So basically, it started with an email reply to Rocket CrossFit on June 3rd, where the email was based around the future of CrossFit and its concerns, right, from the owner. To which Greg Glassman, the owner of CrossFit, his response was pretty harsh and demeaning, and this was posted publicly on their blog, on social media, and it's circulating in various news outlets as well. The response was such: Alyssa, I sincerely believe the quarantine has adversely impacted your mental health. I wouldn't speak for Jeff Kane, but I can tell you that you are delusional in thinking that anyone, even for a second, thought that you were the conscious of CrossFit. The very notion is cringeworthy. You think you're more virtuous than we are. It's disgusting. Your self-professed brand wizardry. I can't say the word wizardry. Wizardry. Wizardry has been tolerated but never seen as actually thoughtful or effective, but certainly manipulative. You're doing your best to brand us as racist, and you know it's bullshit. That makes you a really shitty person. Do you understand that? You've let your politics warp you into something that strikes me as wrong to the point of being evil. I am ashamed of you, Greg.
Just like it blows my mind that someone who's the CEO of a company that's worth millions
Come on.
Like, you wouldn't send that to someone that, like,
Your
someone
enemy.
you don't know, let alone someone who's been a customer of your business and part of your community for like 10 years. Like, what?
Dude, people have cheated me. People have stolen like from like some like people have stolen money from like, you know, the suppliers and stuff like that. Like, we don't respond this way.
Like, it's human decency. You don't talk to people like that.
You just don't. And I mean, the kicker is, I see the CC is like, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people CC'd in this email.
Like, it blows my mind. And I think, take away the other things that happened, like, that just says to me, like, you're not the person that should be running this ship. And at the same time, like, from a personal standpoint, would I want my money to be going towards him? Because at the end of the day, he is profiting.
Yeah. Every single dime goes into his pocket, right? Owns it 100%.
Well, you know, there's a lot goes back into business.
Yeah, but yeah.
But
I know.
it's the thing that's like so sad and frustrating is that I've been part of that community for 10 years, that I have really close friends that are part of the CrossFit seminar staff, who are amazing people that believe in the methodology, that care about helping people. And they're being put in this situation where it's like their livelihoods are on the line because someone is senselessly, you know, I mean, talking without a filter.
I mentioned it the other day when we were chatting, and you know, we had a conversation regarding this, and you said that there was already you know, already a sentiment of like doubt or concern in amongst the CrossFit community before this even unfolded. And this was just like more like a cherry on the top. Like, and then it just snowballed from there. And I think then the really big kickoff was on June 7th, when the Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation tweeted, "Racism is a health issue, hashtag Black Lives Matter," to which Greg responded, Floyd 19, which was I would say snide comment, trying to combine like COVID and the death of.
It's
stupid.
It's really, really tasteless. And
come on.
Yeah.
Like, people look up to you, right? Like, you're the head of this institution. People look up to you. Your comments matter to people. Dude, like, we have a tiny company right now, and you know, we have how many thousand followers, or like how many thousand friends, and we are watching our words, right? The first thing I asked you when I was like, "Hey, do we want to talk about this?" What did you say? We should be really clear about what the message is. Yeah. And you know, if a small company like us can actually you know, sit down and think about that, I just don't know what the hell happened. You know, he's apologized. He's apologized, but you know, I think the damage is already done, and with already a bitter sentiment in the community. Like, you have what on the back of that tweet, like CrossFit boxes, athletes, sponsors. Like, we're looking at Reebok, Rogue, Beam, Fit Aid, Romwad. All of them have said that they don't want to be affiliated. Tia Toomey, Noah Olsen, Annie Thorsdottir, and hundreds of others have like condemned. Rich Froning has condemned it, right? And you know, it is concerning.
I do believe that if certain steps happen, that change is possible, because there is so much good in the CrossFit community, and so much good that they have been doing. I personally don't believe that him stepping down and Dave Castro taking over is enough. It's like a Band-Aid. Like it's a like to be seen to be doing something from outside, but it isn't actually changing anything.
Dude, like I would fucking, from, we were talking about the aspect of charity. Like this is the time that if you want to give back, like don't just make internal management changes, but fucking give back to the community. Do something good. You have the power and the strength to do so.
But even, there's they do care about the community. I know that for a fact. So why would you not call in people that are part of your community that this affects and say, how can we support you better? How can we support the people that are in the areas where this is being like the biggest effect? Like
Yeah.
what is, and you don't have to have all the answers, but you have to be willing to have a dialogue. And that's what hasn't been happening.
Yeah. I'm just looking at it. Fuck.
Like I do, there is so much, like I want to keep like redefining that there is so much good that the company has done.
Yeah.
And still is doing. Like the people I know that have dedicated their careers to working for CrossFit, teaching the certifications, teaching the methodology. I know how they change lives. Like
Dude,
CrossFit changed my life.
Imagine the people, like, the people involved in it, but also think about how society has changed. Right.
Oh, sure.
I've, to me at least, strong, like when you look at the CrossFit Games and you look at, like, say, for example, the women and the men, like those are bodies. Like when I used to teach like personal trainers, right, in Basecamp 101, I was like, who has the best bodies? Which athletes have the best bodies in the world? And like I would get stupid answers, of course, like bodybuilders and stuff like that. But that was not the answer. The answers are like CrossFitters and sprinters. Like they genuinely have the best bodies, right? And you look at their body and it's awe-inspiring. You want to be like them. You want to have that, like obviously the muscle mass, the strength, the speed, the endurance. Like they're so, like, they're tested over so many planes, like fucking in awe of them, right? But also like, what has it done for society where it's like, there's, I mean, what was the biggest global, most chronic disease? Is obesity. Is overweight people, and CrossFit helped change that.
And it's for me, I had never seen women doing the things that the women in CrossFit are doing.
Seriously.
Like,
yeah.
When like I was in gyms where it was like, oh, you're lucky to, like, there's 5 kilos is the heaviest weight you can lift. When I went into a CrossFit gym, it was the first women, like, holy shit, they do hundreds of pull-ups and muscle-ups, and they're like lifting more weight than I've ever imagined being able to lift. And that made me realize that like things that I thought were impossible weren't. It completely changed my life when I did like the certifications and I started coaching. And it's given me a platform to be able to give back in ways that I could never have imagined. And so when you've invested so much and when you feel like it's it's part of my life, and it has been for a very long time.
Hey, you were a CrossFit Regionals athlete too, right?
Yeah. So when you watch this and I see not just the people who are athletes, but like the normal people whose lives have changed because they came into a place where it didn't matter what they looked like or how good they were, and everyone was welcoming, and they couldn't run 100 meters, and then their win is the first time they ever do 100 meters without stopping. Like those people, like their lives completely transformed because they've had this safe, inclusive place, and the methodology works, and
with very little judgment, let me add.
Of course, like I like the stories that I have from the gym with people who came in with depression, suicidal, all kinds of health issues. and their lives have completely transformed. From those stories, like you put someone in a normal Globo gym, they're not getting that. They're not getting the community. They're not getting that support network. They're not getting coaches who really care about them as people. Obviously there are some good coaches around, but your average person who just walks into the gym and just pays a gym membership and goes to some random group exercise class or walks on a treadmill isn't benefiting from that. And that's why so many people start at the gym and they always fail, because they're missing that community and all of those things. So it's sad to see something that really does mean a lot to me being treated this way.
So what happens next? In your opinion, what happens next with the CrossFit name?
Well, I think it's going to remain to be seen. It will depend on next steps from HQ. It'll be interesting to see if what Castro does. It's going to be interesting to see, will Glassman sell some of the company? What is, will they bring in, will they because like there have been other divisive issues that have come up over the years. This is not the only one. So it'll be interesting to see, like, will they use this as an opportunity to go, we can be better, let's have a dialogue. Because if they, like, there's obviously so much value to their certifications and their education program, and obviously the games is a really big thing. With the way things are going now, obviously having had COVID, so they've had to really scale down what they had planned for the games. Now it'll be interesting to see, like, who will actually turn up to the games.
Yeah, and I think, you know, at this point it's good to like really reiterate that it was the comments made by one person who was the head of that, but the rest of the company still stays the rest of the company, or the rest of the community still stays the rest of the community, right? It's like the whole thing is condemning him and not CrossFit as a training methodology. So the training methodology is still solid, and that's what athletes like Matt Fraser and Noah Olson and Tia Toomey and the daughters compete in. Like, it's they compete in that training methodology. So it's you know, as
so I think it's going to remain to be seen. I think that it does open up space for companies that want to be leaders, that don't want to be connected to the CrossFit name anymore, to start maybe other options for competition or for like certification. Who knows how that will end up looking, but I do think there's definitely a possibility that new options will come up now.
So I think, you know, next in line when you look at it is like, obviously there's going to be a gap created by this, right? There's going to be a divide. So, I mean, yeah, like we're saying that, you know, it's the thoughts of one man, and then, you know, you don't hate the methodology, but there've been many athletes that have like, what's the word? De-affiliated?
Well, yeah, the affiliations.
Cut their ties, right? Cut their ties with the brand. So where do they go? Right? Where are they going to compete? I mean, they obviously have they have a skill set, they have a level of fitness that is unmatched, and, you know, that's at the end of the day, I think that's their livelihood as well, right?
Yeah, I think.
Where do they go now?
For the general community, I don't think a lot's going to change. Maybe someone else will step up. I think for the athletes, this is the really big thing, because it is their livelihood. And if you have spent every day of your life for the last 5 to 7 years training to be a CrossFit Games athlete, and then that is no longer an option for you, then what?
Then what?
and that will remain to be seen. I do think there are really great companies and organizations that have been organizing like functional fitness events. Maybe one of them will step up and create and turn into something bigger. Things have been tried in the past.
You have DFC, right, in Dubai? Dubai
Yeah.
Fitness Championships?
Yeah, well, Dubai CrossFit Championships, they renamed a few years ago. So
Oh, yeah.
again, those things will remain to be seen. Will those companies stay connected? Possibly. If they don't, how do they continue? Maybe they become the leader, and that becomes where like the World Championships turns to, and there's a international qualifying series. There was a lot of really disappointed people when regionals was axed. Maybe someone is going to step up and go, okay, now we're going to create a new like world championship series where there's qualifying levels and there are maybe regional events and then a world championship. Who knows?
Yeah. That's nice.
It's not the first. Yeah. I'm excited to see what happens.
I think me too. I have a feeling that Rogue's going to have a big say in this matter, or they're going to have a big part to play. Taking on the mantle of the fitness regime, because at the end of the day, it's like it is a training methodology, right? Only the name has been copywritten, right?
Yeah.
The training regime is not copy. It's like it's basically taking like bits and pieces from different sports, right? It's just the brand name and the community that was created around it. And I think also at the same time, like we should reiterate to like gym goers that, you know, don't cancel your gym membership, or, you know, don't stop going to those gyms, because at the end of the day, yeah, you might want to, you know, axe your affiliation with the brand, but you know, by canceling your membership, it is hurting the coaches directly, and it is hurting the gyms directly that, you know, are supporting you through your fitness journey. So you know, be smart about it.
Yeah, of course. And this is so for the average person, the experience in the gym doesn't change. One of the things that made affiliation with CrossFit popular all of this time has been that it's not like a normal franchise where you have specific things you have to do. You essentially, as an affiliate, just have the ability to use the CrossFit name in your marketing.
Yeah.
And you're on like the affiliate finder map. So if you like look up on,
you pay $3,000 and then you become an affiliate.
So it's essentially a marketing fee. And so every gym has that, every gym is built purely based on what the owners want and who the coaches are in the business.
Yeah.
So that's why there's so much variance from one gym to another. You can have very different experiences, and they've got such unique, beautiful communities because people attract the people that are around them that they like being around. So the name CrossFit doesn't change anything. There's still still a beautiful community and people that really just want to be better and healthier together. I think it's more that it's a decision for business owners.
Yeah.
That is this a company that we believe that it brings value to us if we're still affiliated with them.
Yeah.
And then of course it's based on your value system, can you still be affiliated with a brand that, like, I love that some of the affiliates that are choosing to de-affiliate are going, well, we're going to use this money firstly to put all of our coaches on education courses to understand how to be anti-racist, and the rest we'll donate to supporting like charities in our communities. So then they're still using it as an outreach and a growth, and they're still like pledging to invest that money, but rather than it going to Glassman, they're using it in a way that they feel that they can give back. Now, that's not going to be the same for every person in every gym. There's going to be some that choose to stay because they believe in the community, and maybe it's easier to fix it from the inside.
Yeah, maybe it is. And that's exactly where I was going to go. You know, some may choose to stay affiliated, right? I mean, but what you will do as a gym is more important. What you would do as staff, as leaders, like people generally look at gym owners and gyms as leaders, right? In the fitness industry, and coaches. So it is all up to you. So you did say something very important, that, you know, you could choose to just do it internally and fix it internally.
And this is the thing, I think people are so caught on that, like, I have to make a stand right now. There's nothing wrong with saying that I agree that Black Lives Matter, that I care that people in my community are suffering, and I want to inform myself better so that I can have a better stance. I don't know everything right now.
Yeah.
And from there, like, there's plenty of things that I've had to stance on over the years, and now that my life is different and I'm in a different place, I'm like, shit, I knew nothing. And it's okay that stance changes. But it's being open to the dialogue and saying, okay, so the people that are suffering right now, I want to hear your story.
Yeah.
And then I want to inform myself as best I can. And then from there, how can I support?
Yeah.
And like, the level of support's going to vary person to person. Like, what I feel I need to do versus what you feel you need to do are going to be different things.
Yeah. 100%. And again, like, as a company, we obviously, you know, are against the words and the words that were used by, obviously, CrossFit CEO. We still love the community, because that is, you know, we still love the training methodology, but we definitely do not stand by the words that he's used. And this is bigger than we think. And, you know, I feel the next few days, let's see, the next week probably will tell us how things. I think even after the apology, like, brands have still decided to discontinue the relationship, because I think the apology and the stepping down is not enough.
Yeah. No, when it kicked off, I said, unless he steps down, there's a massive change of internal leadership, and they pledge that, like, there's like internal work happening to change within the culture of then that at this point I feel like it's like irreparable damage.
And, you know, the thing is, I think, I was just watching someone give a comment on this as well, just said the lines of, like, this kind of an announcement should not be made as a post or a tweet. It has to be live. It has to be someone speaking right into the camera, like Greg Glassman speaking right in the camera as his words of what's going on, you know, and not just something written down on Instagram or Twitter.
Yeah. We as a company care about, we have always had it as a value that community and supporting people to be their best selves, no matter who they are or where they're from, their belief systems. That has always been a company value from the time we started.
Dude, look at our company. It's fucking diverse.
Very diverse.
Yeah.
Every person in our company is from a different place.
From a different place.
But on top of that, it's also been a company priority to give back when we had the capacity to.
Oh yeah.
It's always been a plan to, anytime we had the resources, to give back to charities and communities that needed it. And that's, anyone who's been following us for a while will have seen some of those things that we've done in the past. in the past year.
And the stuff that we're going to do in the future as well.
And then on top of that, behind the scenes, there's I volunteer my time to women who are domestic violence victims, and I go and teach classes in a shelter, and things like that have always been causes that I care about. People who are suffering, that need the support, and it's been the more resources that I have, for me, it was like, if I can give time, I wanted to be in a position where I could give my time to those people who needed things. And it never felt like it was something I needed to talk about, because who cares about what I'm doing? But at this point, I think it's important to make it public that that's a value of our company, and that it always will be.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that we love about you, Jesse. And it's I've said this before, that it's an honor to have you as part of the team, right? Because I mean, you do bring so much value from not just education and good looks, but also but also the philanthropical, the like the things that matter, from the heart that matters. You bring all that to the team, and as a team with Jen Strong and Shiro, with things coming up, like I've been working on some little things that I mentioned to you guys, and how we can give back as well. I mean, we did the Ramadan giveaway because we do care about these things, and we've started to give back. But I think taking an active stand for the current matter that really is serious, we're going to do our level best as both Jen Strong and Shiro to give back, and our new plans coming forward should support that. And for anyone watching, stay tuned. Anything else you want to add?
No.
All right, so that's it then. And from Team Generation Strong and Shiro, stay strong and stay hankry.